Okay, good evening, everyone. And we're rolling. Thank you so much for joining us online tonight for Colonically Correct. I'm Carla Thomas and I'm going to be hosting this evening. I am a holistic counsellor in mind-body medicine. I'm an I Quit Sugar expert. I'm an NMD with the Juice Plus company and an all-round whole food cheerleader and nutrition educator. And I do these one-monthly series events to basically be able to educate people on different forums and different ways on being able to create and maintain a healthy lifestyle and the different sorts of rituals and principles that can play a part in your health. I know they have in mine, and that's why I like to authentically share different aspects that I believe can help other people at the same time. So tonight, very excited to have the beautiful Melinda Atha on as a special guest. Melinda and I first met, I think, a couple of years ago now when she started to cleanse my colon, and I haven't looked back since then. And I think that's why I really wanted to invite her on tonight, because colonics is something that I get asked about and approached on quite a regular basis. And I can share my story and what I know, but I'm not the expert. So I thought, why not get Melinda online so that she could answer everything. And that way, you know, it might help clear some of the myths around it. And if you had been thinking about it, give you that confidence to move forward. So before we get started, I just want to make sure again and ask that we all keep ourselves on mute throughout this, just to make sure there's no background noise. I'll do what I can and make sure everyone else is on. And if you do have any questions, this is not a seminar. We like to keep things really relaxed and really open, mind the pun, and we like to be able to see each other's faces and interact. So if you have any questions or you just want to comment or add on to anything, perhaps the experience you've had, please feel free to pop it in the chat, and hopefully at the end of all the questions, we'll have time to answer a few of those that have been popped into the chat section. But otherwise, I'm going to introduce Melinda to you now. So I'm just going to read her bio, which is fantastic, just to give you an idea of why I wanted her on tonight. So Melinda is the founder of urBodi Detox Clinic. It was founded by her in 2010, and she's been successfully helping her clients reach their own individual health goals and has seen many clients' lives change for the better. She's a qualified nutritionist. She's a colonic hydrotherapist, and she's got a background of over 20 years in the health and fitness industry. So she's seen the benefits of cleansing and clean, healthy diets on her clients, and she wants to keep continuing this passion for years to come. So she runs her detox clinic from home, which is where we can see her from now, in the northern suburbs of Perth. And she's really leading the way in creating new and exciting connections with other health professionals within the health industry. So over the last few years, Melinda's focus has really gone towards weight loss, nutrition, detox, and of course, what we're talking about tonight, colonic irrigation. So she's qualified with a globally recognized qualification, which is awesome. And she's been working in this side of the industry for over 5 years now. And she uses a pressurized Otola machine, which is her amazing detoxification tool. She's also got the far infrared beds, and she uses prescription supplements and nutrition, which we're also going to talk about tonight, including Juice Plus, to improve her clients' health. So, Melinda, that's quite a tongueful there, but I didn't want to miss anything out. Thank you so much for joining us on the call tonight.
Thank you, Carla. That wonderful introduction. I didn't realise I'd done so much. Obviously, I'm getting old.
No, I was going to say, you covered so much in such a short time. Melinda, honestly, when I asked you a couple of weeks ago now, Melinda was cleaning my pipes once again, and I just said, you know what, I'd love to have you on as my guest for the next call. And she said, sure, why not? I would really love to be able to share and, as we said, debunk some of those myths around colonics. So I'd love to start again by, you know, having you share exactly how you fell into the path of colonics.
Okay, well, I have been a bit like you into food since I was 11 years old, turned vegetarian, and a bit of a Greenpeacer and a protest marcher in my day. So my health journey started at the age of 11 and then continued on. And I went into the health and fitness world and wanted to learn more about the nutrition side of things, but I didn't want to go down the orthodox dietitian road. So I got myself qualified in nutritional medicine, and that's where I really was introduced to cleansing and healing the body from within. And part of the training and background from the university in London that I studied at was how important it is to detoxify from within. And the easiest way to do that was actually to flush out the colon. So we got taught about colonics there. We also got taught about enemas and all the other different forms of cleansing the colon out. But the most efficient way is through a colonic. The reason for that is with an enema, although you can do them at home, and they are a very affordable and a cheap way of starting and instigating your cleanse of the bowel, a colonic's going to clean out the whole colon. So I was really introduced into that mainly by a lovely lady, Carol Hardy, who's a nurse in Perth, and she trained me up initially about 8 years ago now, and I then got my qualifications in Melbourne and carried on and set up my own business. But during that time, just before that happened, my father died of bowel cancer. So that was another little nudge in that direction that made me realise how important it was to detox the colon and keep proactive in that area. So that's really why I went into it. And it just worked so well with the nutritional training that I'd already done. So yeah, does that answer the question? I think it does a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's quite obvious, as you said, there were signs coming from everywhere, and especially with, the unfortunate passing of your father. And we are seeing, I'm sure you'll agree, a higher rate in colon cancer occurring, which has a lot to do with diet, poor dietary choices, and poor care for the gut. So it's easy to see why you went passionate about this. Melinda, I'd love to ask, who in your mind, if someone is considering it, who is colonic irrigation for, and what are the benefits you believe in having this done regularly?
Okay, so who is Colonics for? Well, I get a mixture of clients coming in, from clients that really just need to clean out the colon because they're suffering with diarrhea, constipation, parasites. They might have diverticulosis or some other conditions like irritable bowel, and it's a last port of call for a lot of clients that have gone down the orthodox road and have gone, nothing's working for me. They've even gone into the hospital and into the emergency ward, and I'm usually the last person that they come to, and the last person that they don't go any further. So they're usually seeing me, and it's the fix it cure that enables them to carry on with their lives. So that's one pocket of the population, I suppose, that come. The other side is, and this is becoming massive now, as you know, in your industry, is the detoxers, the cleansers, the clients that are being proactive in their health and leading the way with their own internal well-being, listening to their bodies, fine-tuning their insides so that they can hear whether or not they're having any sort of intolerances or sensitivities to foods. It just cleans you up from the inside. It makes you fine-tune everything. So the body's, when you're flushing out and cleaning with a colonic, you're enabled to hear those signals much clearer. So if you're continually eating wheat and dairy and sugar and alcohol and all of those stimulants, you're less likely to hear those signals from the body that are telling you that you need to stop eating those certain foods. So colonics can be the kickstart to a lot of clients' road journey down the health path. And and then colonics can be seen as the tool to cleanse. So a lot of clients are coming in and using colonics as their detox. So not necessarily just as a side junction to cleaning out all the herbs and the powders that they're taking, but it can actually be used as a seasonal cleanse. And that's how often I would say to do it as well. Just touching on that. That's a question I get asked a lot, is how often and how many. So I would say, and I like to say, mainly because it's easy for clients to remember, is each season you're changing your diet, you're eating different foods. So that would be a prime time to come in and do a cleanse and refresh and reboot, and then add in all your extras. So that would be how often I would recommend every season, and how many, well, that depends on your own health issues that you've got going on with the bowel. What it's good for, it's great for skin improvement. It's great for increasing assimilation of nutrients. It's great for improving your immune system, alongside taking your prebiotics and your probiotics and all the gut health products out there. Your Colonics is a really fast way of hydrating your cells. Each cell, as you know, needs hydration, needs nutrition, and it needs to be able to eliminate its waste. So your colonic is eliminating waste through the colon, and it's also hydrating the colon itself. But as the bowel is a dehydrator, some of that water that you're putting into the colon is going to saturate through the lining of the bowel and reach the cells surrounding it, and then in turn wash through the body. As the more you do, the more effective that becomes. And that's where skin improvement can be seen, and why people go away going, oh, I had people telling me my eyes sparkled and my skin's glowing. So those are all the side benefits of having a colonic. Reduces allergies, increases peristalsis action, which is bowel regularity, and hemorrhoid, headaches, all the usual sort of symptoms of a toxic body. It's going to help reduce and improve. If you're doing a detox, it's going to help eliminate those headaches and the elimination process. So it kind of calms it down, because it's taking a lot of the toxic residue out of you in one hit. So a colonic can be used in combination with your cleansing products and powders that you're taking as well. So yeah, I think that's it. I think I've rambled enough there.
No, brilliant. That's brilliant information. It covers a lot. And I really think it just shows that there's nobody necessarily that a colonic would be for. I might get you to touch on in a moment anyone that you would say should avoid it for any reason, if you do believe. But I know personally, we can absolutely follow a healthy diet, and we can include good pre and probiotics and eat good fermented foods, but sometimes that might just be not enough. Sometimes we go on holidays, for example, and we're upping the alcohol intake. I know we've spoken about this, and one of the first reasons I even went to you, and I'm open about it, is because just for about a month I just could not shift bloating, etc., and I just wasn't feeling right, and being very in touch with my health. As you said, when you are, I just knew something wasn't right. And the first time I saw you, it wasn't the most pleasant experience, but we found stuff in there that wasn't so great, and there was an immediate relief afterwards. And I can vouch for the fact that the more you do this, as you mentioned, seasonally if possible, the less uncomfortable it can be, and the more you tend to be able to get rid of. And if you've never done one before, it is quite a shock to the system when you realise how much we are actually not ridding of our body. If you think about how much we release on a daily basis, as opposed to what you see come out, you really do begin to go, ooh, no wonder there's a lot stuck in there. So
yeah, I have clients that cleanse, that are doing juicing cleanses, and they might be on it for I had a client recently that was doing a juicing cleanse for, I think she'd been on for 14 days, still getting bowel movement out after 3 colonics. So, and that's no food going in. And I kept saying to her, definitely not get any food going. No, nothing. No smoothies, nothing. Just residue that was there. And, not everyone's like that. Some people, we can clean out and shift things a lot quicker. But, yeah, it's amazing how we all hold on to bowel movement at different amounts. And a lot of that is the second brain up here controlling the other brain down there. So the more stressed you are, the more uncomfortable a treatment can be. The more relaxed you are, the better it is. And also, like you say, the more you do, the less toxic you are, so the easier it becomes. And the more comfortable you are with the treatment then, the more used to it you are. I see this quite a lot, actually. even from my clients that haven't been for a year, they'll get on, first treatment can be uncomfortable, thereafter, fine. It's usually, if you're going to have an uncomfortable one, it can quite often be the first one. And when we say uncomfortable, it's a sensation of feeling like you've got bad diarrhea. For some, it can feel crampy for some. Other people ride the colonic machine like it's nothing and chat all the way through, and are releasing loads and loads of toxins and bowel movements and bits and pieces that are coming out. And they're doing it really easily. So everyone is different. And when you come in and have your assessment health screen checked, there's a lot of little hidden signals that I'm picking up on whilst I'm reading your basic information, and also your personality type, how stressed you are, how relaxed you are, what sort of job you do. All of those things will affect how I think your bowel will react on the machine, and quite often it usually confirms it. So it's amazing how how stress and your second brain up here can really control what's going on in your gut. So I validate that. I'm looking out for parasites when I do a colonic. I'm also looking out for candida, which is rife. I see that in probably, I think maybe 80-90% of the population that come in for a cleanse have candida, which is an overgrowth of bacteria in the bowel that's fed by your sugary foods. And when I say sugary foods, I also put into that category starches, all the white breads, the pastas, the white rice, the simplified sugars, the cakes, the biscuits, the alcohol, all of those are in that category, and they're all going to feed candida. And the symptoms of candida, I'm bringing this up because it's always there in a lot of people, is foggy head, tiredness, bloating, and those are the symptoms that most people come in to get help with. Those bowel issues, digestive issues. So yeah, candida is a big one. Parasites, undigested foods, another huge one. So if I'm seeing a lot of food particles coming out in big amounts, it means your digestive system isn't coping very well. You won't be absorbing all those nutrients. And that's when things like Juice Plus really come into action, and they really help support back up your digestive system in the absorption of nutrients. So that's, a great time to sort of pick up on the Juice Plus there, because that's really easily absorbable, and it just goes straight into the blood system and enables you to take in all those extras. So that's, again, picking up on energy will improve when you're taking Juice Plus.
So much great value there, and so much good information, and you've covered a lot, which I did want to, in terms of what could people expect, because I think that's a big fear, and this whole idea of it being very uncomfortable and unpleasant. And I know that Melinda's always been so fantastic. She does chat with you to help you just kind of take your mind off. She rubs your stomach and, makes it as comfortable for you as possible in the process. Before I go on to, I've got one more question after this, but I did want to ask, is there anyone, just for instance, pregnant women or anyone that's in particular a certain disorder or issue?
Contraindications. Yeah, contraindications are definitely there, and as any kind of procedure that you have done, I'm looking out for hernias. If there's any hernias, any bowel operations that have been done and not been cleared as safe, they're a no-go. I'm looking out for heart disease, anyone that's got high blood pressure that's not medicated. I'm also watching, it's not a contraindication, but if someone's got low blood sugar, I'll be monitoring them as well, just because that can cause some clients to faint if they're not careful. So it just enables me to make sure I've got electrolytes on hand and a sugary drink to sort of help them through the treatment. What else? Certain pregnancies, again, depends on what stage of your pregnancy you're at. So first trimester is a no for colonic, final trimester is okay. So if you're suffering with constipation during your final stage of pregnancy, then yes, a colonic is okay. Although what I would say is that I prefer clients to at least had colonics before they're pregnant, before I start saying, oh yeah, they can have a treatment, because you never really know how a client's going to react. You know, we're all pretty good on the machines, but you just don't know. And I would hate for anything to happen. So I always play safe and say the final trimester only. What else? Internal bleeding, fistulas, hemorrhoids that are flared up are a bit of a no-no. We just wait for those to calm down before we do treatments. What else? That's about it. Any sort of surgeries, yeah, hernias, that kind of thing, intestinal ulcers, those are all contraindicated as well. But it's usually just down to the area of the practitioner. There's some people that have got diverticulitis and diverticulosis. So depending on what stage you're at, whether it's flared, whether it's not flared, whether you're in attack mode with that will depend on whether or not it's okay to treat or not okay to treat. Getting in and treating those clients early stage of that condition can actually help them not progress and get any worse. So yeah, maybe Crohn's as well can be a bit iffy if it's untreated, but that's about it.
Perfect. Thank you. It covers so much there. Melinda, I'd love to know, as I'm sure others would, is there anything you could recommend that people should do before, after, in between colonics, in terms of no-nos and good things for nutrition and supplement support to ensure that they are giving the best care to their colon?
Right. Okay. So I have a different stance on this depending on whether it's your very first appointment with me or whether it's your first appointment in 6 months or 3 months. If it's your very first time, I like to see you on a clean slate. So I like to see you as is and see the bowel and see how it functions on the machine without any extras, because a lot of people can add in peppermint oils and digestive stimulants and all these things, and then they come in and they might react in a highly intense stimulated way when normally they're not. So very first initial time, first timers, I like to see them no changes, and then it gives me an idea, much the same as you doing a nutritional consult. You've got a starting point. You can kind of gauge where they're at with their health journey, where they're at with their food, and then make changes. Now, for those clients that have been and had colonics before and are maybe wanting to do a detox or a cleanse, when to stick the colonic in, do we do it at the beginning? Do you do it at the end? I would always gauge it dependent on how long your detox is for. Clients that are doing, let's say, we'll pick a number, let's say 7-day cleanse, I would say to do one at the beginning, because you want to prep and get toxin removal out of your system. So it's going to take a bit of the healing crisis off you from having your bowel cleansed early, and then maybe 1 or 2 in between. When it comes to improved removal on the colonic machine, a vegetarian diet, meat-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, all of those things that are going to aggravate the system out of your diet will give you an improved result as well. So for those clients that are, a bit further down in their health journey, I would say non-meat diet is going to get best results. As to what sort of supplements and powders and lotions and potions, again, that is very much directed at the individual and what they're okay to have, what they're not. But there are token bowel digestive support supplements, powders that you can take to increase toxin removal. Things like charcoal is a simple one. Psyllium husks, bentonite clay. You can increase your magnesium. You can. So there are lots, and there's lots of products. It's like a minefield of knowing what's best to suggest for each individual. but keeping to a vegetarian diet and just simplifying things down is probably the easiest way, I think, to start with. And then come in for a consult and I work through all of that with you, which is safer than you trying to work things out yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, just having that expert opinion. Perfect. That's pretty much all the questions that I had for you. I mean, I think you've covered everything anyone needs to know from here on making a decision on if this is something they want to do for themselves or not. Does anybody else have any questions? If so, I might just ask you to raise your hand if your camera is off, or just pop it in the chat really quickly.
I will just say this while you're looking for questions. Always be aware of what type of colonic you're having, because there are different types of colonic treatments out there. There's an open system and there is a closed system. I run and operate the closed system, which is governed by the governing body of Australia. So it's closed, which means everything runs in and out of you via tubes. So it's a dry, quiet, odour-free treatment. The open system is called a Libby, and they're suitable for clients that are experienced in having treatments, having colonics, and maybe feel safe doing it on themselves. I personally prefer, clients to go to a practitioner and have a practitioner in the room, have a closed treatment. It's much more pleasant. Plus, you get to fire 101 questions, learn, be educated about your digestive system. Whereas on an open system, majority of the cases you are left in the room on your own to do the treatment on yourself. So check that. Always make sure you know what kind of colonic you're having and whether that practitioner is, is qualified. Because some of them aren't. So some of them might be trained, but not necessarily qualified.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say, really.
Thank you for giving us a view of the machine. But I just had somebody want to ask you, touched briefly on Juice Plus before. They just love to know, in your opinion, is this something that, should be on an ongoing basis for them? And is this going to be benefiting their health, in between, and just keeping their colon nice and healthy as well, and just in terms of their overall gut health?
What I would say about any supplement is the better your digestive system is operating, the better it's able to assimilate and digest those supplements, the more you're going to get from it. So I would always suggest that a client does look at their digestive system. I mean, the great thing about having a colonic is it is a window into your digestive system. So it gives me and the client in general a really good idea as to how well they're digesting food. So along with that, you are cleaning out, which enables you to absorb the nutrients a lot better of your supplements that you're on. And Juice Plus is easy to digest, and you could enhance the availability of that supplement by adding it into a smoothie, and that will make it a little bit more absorption happen, because the smoothie has already been blended down, so the cellular casing surrounding those nutrients have been opened up. Your body's able to digest it better, so having your Juice Plus with that will just help absorption even more. So there's no reason why there's no health issues concerning taking Juice Plus. There's a no. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a great antioxidant supply, gives you a boost of energy, and along with doing all your other corrective habits, your diet, your lifestyle, don't forget stress, emotional, will all help absorption of it. If you're running on mega stress levels, it doesn't matter what pill you're putting in, it's not going to be absorbed. So stress is a massive one, and we need to address that. Your mental health is paramount when it comes to absorption of all your nutrients and supplements that you're taking.
Perfect. So basically, two go hand in hand really, really well. We want to enhance in between, you know, seeing obviously with you, we're going to get more benefits from using good supplements like you mentioned earlier, and also with the Juice Plus. So fabulous. Melinda, how can people find you? If this is something they've listened to and they go, do you know what, I'm ready, I want to take things to another level, how can they contact you?
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook under urBodi. Now it's spelt funny, so I'll give you the spelling for it. It's spelt URBODI and then Detox Clinic. So you can find me on Facebook on that, or you can find me, Google search north of the river Colonics, and I will pop up. Yeah, it's pretty easy, north of the river. I'm in Woodvale and I work from the front of my house, so it's very private. So no one's going to know that you've come for a treatment. So it's all very personal and private. So yes, just Google. It's all good.
Thank you so much, Melinda. I'm going to leave it there for the evening, but I so appreciate you giving your time, as I know you are really busy, but some fantastic information that has been shared. And as I said, this is on record now. So for anyone that wants to listen again, share it with someone, or knows someone that isn't quite sure about whether this is the path for them, they can get everything that they need from you. So I have without a doubt that those who hopped on tonight's call and that will end up, you know, listening to this at some stage, have just gotten so much value from it. So I appreciate you once again for taking the time to be on my monthly call and share with beautiful clients that we have, you know, on why Colonics could be the way for them. So I'm going to stop recording now.